Hi, Ange. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, mate.
Ahead of your first FA Cup game, where does it rank on your priority list as a manager, and what are your memories of it throughout your time being a football fan?
Priority-wise, it ranks with every other game I've been in charge, mate. They're all important. There's not one that you don't take sort of full focus on. And yeah, I guess my memories are similar to anyone who loves football. I think the FA Cup's a significant event in a sort of global scale because FA Cup final day pretty much reaches every corner of the globe, and so everyone's had a sort of some sort of experience with it. And yeah, great competition, great tradition, great history, and looking forward to us having a crack at it.
You obviously won, I think it was 3 cups at Celtic. Can you talk a bit about what impact winning a cup has at a club? And when you think of this club in particular, how much of an opportunity does it present to win a trophy?
Yeah, look, I think every club, that's kind of you start every season with hopefully the ambition and the dreams of winning silverware, because you know the impact it has on the fans more than anything else. And yeah, obviously from my perspective, it's an opportunity for us to try and win a competition, and that's for the club of our stature, that has to be the ambition every year, is that you go into every competition with the aim and the hope of winning some silverware.
Of course, it wouldn't be the first week of January without a transfer question. Tottenham and Genoa in talks with Radu Dragusin. I just wondered, you've talked about in the past about your priority being a centre-back and the need maybe to get that done early. Are you confident that you'll get your wish in that?
I mean, it's hard to say because, I mean, obviously I don't get involved in that side of it, and as I said, sort of leading into the window, is that we've got some objectives and some targets, and and we're working towards that. People are working behind the scenes, and sort of who are in charge of those areas are working towards that, and my role within that is to, whenever I'm sought for guidance or clarity as to, which way we need to go, I provide that.
Thank you.
Hi, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Top 4, when top 4 became a Champions League spot, kind of the feeling was the FA Cup took a back step in terms of importance, in terms of magic, in terms of romance. Being a manager whose team are gunning for top 4 this season, is that accurate, or is still winning silverware the holy grail of a manager, a player, a club?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know what I feel about it, and that is that, like I said, every competition I've been in, I want to win. So, it doesn't really, I don't really sort of rank them or diminish one against the other. I think to win any trophy, you've got to earn it, whatever competition it is, whatever, whether that's domestic or continental, everything is hard earned. So, I think I haven't sensed anything within this football club that suggests that this is a competition that is not important to try and achieve. The club does have a history of in this competition. They've won the FA Cup numerous times, and some of the greatest memories that many living Spurs supporters would have would be around FA Cup. So yeah, I certainly don't see it that way. I don't think one really impacts the other. I don't know why, whatever your ambitions are in the league, why that has to affect your ambitions in the other competition.
Does this feel like a cup game because you're playing a team that's in your league, Burnley? I mean, you can't do anything about the draw, clearly, but I mean, because you're playing a team that's in your league, does it feel anything different to a Premier League game?
It does, yeah, and I think you have to treat it differently. I think, teams often take a different approach because, the Premier League has its own pressures and sort of focuses for every team. We're all sort of fighting for different things, and every week is you realise that's there's always a consequence to everything you do, and it affects not just this week and next week, but cup games you kind of know it's that's it. You've got to give everything on the day. teams, I think, tend to play a bit freer, less constrained, knowing that, you know, progress can only happen if you get the job done on the day. So I think it does take a different feel, even though it's a Premier League opponent. And, you know, Burnley have had a decent running in cup competitions over the last couple of years, so we're expecting a tough game.
Finally, as it's January, obviously you're being linked with players, which you've spoken about, players being linked with moves away, including Eric Dyer, who can now sign for a club abroad and move in the summer. You've also been linked with a move to West Ham. Any truth in that at all?
No idea. No, not on my radar.
You'd like to keep Eric?
I think Eric is, you know, contracted to this football club, and he's as much in charge of his own destiny as anyone else.
Could we get an injury update?
Yeah. So from last week, yeah, unfortunately, Alejo, you know, obviously it was a fairly significant injury, so he had scans on whatever day it was after the game, and it's going to keep him out for probably a couple of months. Won't need surgery, but some significant ligament damage. So disappointing for him, because he's kind of worked hard to get an opportunity in the last couple of weeks. He was kind of growing into it, and yeah, really disappointed for him. In terms of last week, everyone else is no issue on injury front. Guys coming back, Mickey van der Ven has trained with us this week, which is good. So he's got through sort of 3 sessions. Not sure about tomorrow, whether he'll be involved or not, and I think everyone else has his.
And James Maddison, he's not as far along as Mickey, obviously, but
No,
do you think we'll see him this month?
He's not training with us yet, mate. And as I've said before, until they train with us, it's hard for me to kind of put a timeline on it. He's out running with a sports science crew, but not with us, and not likely to be with us over the next sort of couple of weeks, I don't think.
And Christian, similar sort of thing?
Yeah, Christian's still very early stages.
I just wanted to ask you about Richarlison. I know you've spoken about it a bit, but obviously he's in great form and had that difficult period earlier. Just wondered if there's anything you could sort of put your finger on as to how things have changed for him on the pitch anyway.
I think I've said consistently, he's free of injury, he feels good physically, and he's just able to perform at the levels that he wants to, and he couldn't do that at the start of the year. Even though he was playing for us, like I said, he was fairly restricted in his movements, and I think it's no sort of magic cure. He got some treatment for what he needed to get treatment for, and he feels good now. He feels his body feels good, and yeah, obviously then you know, he's scoring goals, which makes him feel a little bit more confident in himself. But you know, aside from that, he's working really hard for the team at the moment, which has been really important for us, especially the last sort of 2-3 weeks. So he's going well, and hopefully more to come.
And just lastly from me, have you decided on the captain for tomorrow, and are you able to tell us who that will be?
No, not really. I'm not putting too much. The captain is Sonny. Sonny's the club captain, and Matters and Romero. So whoever wears the armband tomorrow is not really that significant to me. What's more important is that, you know, Sonny's been an outstanding leader, both in deeds, actions and words, and we're going to need players to step up tomorrow, irrespective of who's wearing the armband. We need to try and fill that sort of breach or hole that he's left, because I think he's been outstanding for us. So again, I'm not putting too much thought in that, whoever it is it'll be, but you know, we'll need a number of people to sort of stand up in that area, just in terms of experience on the day.
I'm sorry if you mentioned that, I completely missed his name. Pat Matisar, is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine. He's gone. He's with the national team.
No hamstring issues for him at all?
No, he's fine. He's fine.
Fantastic. Okay. Sorry, back to the transfer window. Just wondering, in your head, whether you share it or not, is there a kind of an ideal number of new faces you'd like to see this month?
No, because again, it doesn't work that way. There's a lot of sort of moving parts in a window like this, and like I said, January you don't expect too much sort of in terms of activity, but I think I've said before that what's important is every opportunity we have to strengthen the team and strengthen the squad, we should try and take, and depending on sort of the opportunities we have to do that in this sort of month, we'll try and do.
And Sergio Reguilón's returned. Is he likely to head back out on loan? Because obviously you're in this situation where if you were to play him, he then can't go out to a third club.
Yeah, again, I think that'll be sort of dictated by a lot of other factors, but not on my radar at the moment.
Okay. And just last one from me, Dane Scarlett. Obviously, a good move in terms of experience with Ipswich, but probably didn't get the game time he would have wanted. Is he someone you maybe have to put an arm round, give him a bit of a reset now for the second half of the season? How does it work with him?
It works that he's back with us and he trains every day and he's got an opportunity to show us what he can do, mate. I mean, that's the life of a footballer. There's no point, he went to Ipswich to play. He didn't, whatever reason, and he's got to take some responsibility of that, but didn't work out. But he's back here now. He's training with us, and like all the other young players, they're before me every day, and they can put a compelling case to play.
Thank you.
Back to James, please.
Hi, Ange. You got a little bit of criticism for the team you picked in the League Cup game at Fulham. Does the reaction to that influence your team selection at all for tomorrow?
What do you reckon?
Probably not.
Yeah, fair summation. No, look, that's all right. People are allowed to criticise. I don't always get it right, but I put out a team I thought could win us the game that night. And we lost on penalties to a Premier League club away from home that's doing pretty well there. So it was early in the season. I know how hard it is to play our football, and if I didn't want to expose the whole group to 3 games in a week that early in the season, so yeah.
I mean, I guess part of the reason for that was obviously because the club's not won anything since 2008, and there is that sense perhaps that there's a frustration that in the past some managers have not taken the domestic cup competition seriously, and that's sort of elongated this wait for silverware. Yeah. Is that whole issue something that you're aware of?
Look, I mean, not that I'm aware of, but I think I said before that there can't be a desperation to win a trophy because it cures all ills, because it doesn't. Because as soon as you win one, what do you think the fans are going to say? Well, it's okay, you don't have to win one for another 15, 16 years. No, they want more. So it's about putting yourself in a position where you can compete for these things regularly, and give yourself every opportunity to win every competition you're in. But it's not like I said, just winning a trophy and thinking that that's going to be enough at a football club like this, which is the context for what I'm saying. Then like I said, there'd be a demand from not just supporters but players, everyone involved in the club. Well, we want more of this, so you can't just sit back and say, well, yeah, but hold on, I've just delivered a trophy. Shouldn't I have some sort of latitude now to not be successful? It doesn't work that way. So I like I said, I'm determined to bring success to the football club, but it's not a desperation for something that is going to give us some respite for what's ahead. When you're a big football club, there should be a constant demand for success.
There's often this argument that if you win a domestic cup, it's like a stepping stone to bigger trophies, but obviously it doesn't always work like that, does it?
No, it doesn't, and there's plenty of evidence to suggest that actually doesn't work at all that way, unless you can back it up. And again, at a football club like this, which should be competing for honours every year, I just don't think winning one trophy should be the holy grail. It should be creating a team and a club that's competing for trophies every year.
Finish this section with George, please.
Hi, Ange. How did Rodrigo Bentancur sort of hold up after Sunday, and what did you make of his performance in that number 6 role?
Yeah, he was good. Obviously, he was feeling the effects of the game, but not anything sort of injury related. So which was good, and it was good to get him out there, and he felt good being out there. He's like I said, with a lot of the injured lads, obviously, they want to help out, and he's he kind of thought he'd done the hard bit getting back the first time, and then you kind of have another setback. So I don't think he fancied really long rehab sort of regime again. He was pretty keen to get back involved, and I was happy to give him the minutes he did, and you could see his quality straight away. He's a very, very good footballer, and I can't wait to sort of, I've said before that, when he's kind of back up to speed from a physical perspective, I think he's going to be a significant contributor for us.
And you're clearly going to miss Son now for this period. But how much encouragement have you taken by kind of a growing relationship, it seems like, with Brennan Johnson and Richarlison? Those 2 goals, Everton and Bournemouth, sort of identical goals. It feels like there's kind of something clicking there for them too.
Yeah, it's developing. You know, I think I've said before that, you know, I think still it's our greatest area of sort of growth still is that front third. I still think we've got so much more to improve on. But every week we're sort of seeing seeds of that and the guys developing and getting a better understanding, as you said. But, you know, we're not... Sonny's you know, you name a team of the year at the moment, he'd be in it. He's been a hell of a player for us, and it's a big loss for us, another one. So, again, we're going to have to really raise everyone's levels to you know, to cover the absence of another significant contributor, probably the most significant contributor for us so far in the season.
And just finally from me, and more of a sombre note, Spurs fan, 16 years old, Harry Pittman, was killed on New Year's Eve. The club are going to show his image tomorrow during the 16th minute, and fans have got encouraged to sing he's one of our own. It won't be much for the family, but does that sort of show football at its best and when it can be more important than just a game of football?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you don't even want to be thinking about the circumstances of the family and, you know, that, again, you know, where we are as a society, the fact that these things still happen and, you know, young lives are lost for absolutely no reason. And like I said, I couldn't even contemplate, you know, the grief and the pain that the family's going through. But, you know, that's, like I said, I've always felt football clubs are more than just the embodiment of what we do as, you know, in sport. They are an extended community, an extended family for a lot of people. And if it even gives them the smallest amount of comfort, then, you know, it's the least that we can do and our fans can do. But, yeah, it's just, you know, like I said, tragic and inconceivable, just that people, you know, families still have to suffer this sort of grief.
Okay, we'll move on to the Embargoed session, starting for 10:30 p.m. tonight. Dave? I'm guessing the Sumas.
Yeah, gone.
Well.
Yeah.
So, and we've also seen United holding on to their goalkeeper, Onana, for the game against you. Quite a big difference in terms of join-up times, a bit of an inconsistency there. I just wonder how you feel about that and if it feels entirely kind of fair to you.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's fair or unfair. It's just, you know, each club can sort of deal with it the way we want, and, you know, there's other reasons for these kind of things. But no, I don't think it certainly doesn't. What other clubs do doesn't doesn't sort of affect me or the way I view it. Ultimately, we're bound by FIFA rules with these things, and you know, we want our players to represent their country. They're big tournaments they're going to, and hopefully they're all successful. And more importantly, hopefully they will come back healthy.
Were you surprised that United got that extension on?
No, I mean, like I said, I spend 0 time. I'm not bothered at all what other clubs do. No.
Similar theme on losing the players and to the cup competitions. Would Spurs have to consider that now moving forward when they do enter the transfer market? Because 3 first-team players is a significant amount, and any more, I'm assuming, would be pretty catastrophic. So is that something the club have got to be wary of now when they look at signing players?
Oh, I'd hate for that to be the case, because you'd miss out on some fantastic talent. We've got a generational player from Asia that's been representative of our club, and, you know, if we lose him every 4 years for 5 weeks, I think it's a real small price to pay. And I love international football. I think it's important. I don't like the way the calendar has been crammed, but the events, the tournaments they're going to now are significant tournaments. They're not sort of just thrown together in the last couple of years. The African Nations Cups are very important. The Asian Cups are very important for these nations. You've got to understand that these guys, this is where they were brought up. You know, this is where, you know, a lot of who they are today comes from. And when they go represent and put their shirt on, it's not just another game of football for them. So I'm sure Sonny would love to have been here with us and Pape, but it doesn't diminish what they do there. And I would never rule out somebody because, you know, they're going to represent their country, or they're representing a country helps a player develop both professionally and personally.
You talked about Sonny earlier and what a good player he's been this season. And he's been nominated for Player of the Month as well. The Asia Cup's been on the agenda for a long time though, so how long have you been preparing for this absence, and do you feel as prepared as you could be?
Yeah, we've been preparing since the start of the season, but I wasn't preparing to lose half a dozen other players at the same time. So, you know, you kind of understand that. I mean, if we had some of our injured players available and fit, the absence would be diminished, albeit he's still a significant person at our football club. Like I said, it's not just about what he does as a player. He's the captain of the club. He's been our leader, our outstanding leader from day one, on and off the field, and it's a significant absence. So, but, you know, from that perspective, in terms of the presence he had on the field, you know, if Romero and Madison were available, then yeah, you could diminish it, but they're not available. So with all the other challenges we've got, it makes it more difficult. But it's been like that from day one. I think, you know, we've had to overcome these things, and it's just another challenge for us.
And Vincent Kompany at times this season has had some criticism from the outside saying we should change his style, adapt to the Premier League. It sounds quite familiar to some of the things he's been thrown at you this season. How much do you sort of respect the way he's stuck to his guns, and how hard is it to do that?
Yeah, look, I keep saying I respect every manager and the way they go about it, because I know how tough a job it is, whether that's in the Premier League or anywhere else, but it's obviously amplified here in the Premier League but, you know, we played Bournemouth on the weekend. I think there was similar criticism around Andoni's work at the start of the year. He stuck to his guns in the way he wants his team to play, and it's not easy, but ultimately it's the biggest measure of, I think, of who you are, you know, what you stand for, because invariably if you change in that moment just because people want you to change and not because you feel it's the right thing to do, then you're on a slippery slope, because those things never end. There's always challenges, you know. There isn't a manager, irrespective of where they are, even the ones who are on top still get criticised for something they do. So it's part of your existence as a manager. You need to embrace that and understand that. And like I said, the test then becomes you know, when people are calling for you to change something, and it doesn't mean you don't. If you think it's for the right reasons, then you should do it. But if you're just changing because you think it appeases or somehow will mean people cut you some slack, it just doesn't happen. It's a slippery slope. Like I said, you end up becoming someone you don't want to be, and ultimately you fail.
Hamza.
You've been coaching a long time. Vincent Kompany not so long, but you've both been in the Premier League an equal amount of time. How hard do you think it is for a young manager to learn their trade in the Premier League compared to other leagues?
Look, I think it's hard wherever you do it. I guess there's more focus here for sure, but you also got more resources. You know, there are other managers who their first job is, you know, a real hard shift as well. You know, but wherever you start, I guess, like I said, the important thing is that ultimately you know, especially when you're kind of first getting into it, is that you kind of try and figure out who you want to be and how you want your teams to play, and every opportunity you have to do that, you try and take. And it's obviously harder under the spotlight of a competition like the Premier League, because every little thing gets scrutinised and sort of dissected, and there's plenty of opinion, plenty of advice, but ultimately you realise that none of it really matters if it's not who you are, you know. And but like I said, I've got great respect, whether it's, you know, somebody like Vincent who's in his first year and in the Premier League, and somebody like Roy who's, I don't know, then he's not escaping criticism either, is he? So that's your existence. Like, if you've got to understand that never goes away. It'll never go away. And as long as you know how to deal with it, and like I said, you don't allow it to change you, then you can live with it.
I appreciate that everyone's always learning all the time, but is there anything that you've learnt in particular over the past few months?
Well, I've learnt there's a word I shouldn't use from now on. So you're always learning, mate. You know, even at my age, and I've always tried to make it. I've always tried to make it sort of, you know, a pact with myself that, you know, I'm never going to stop learning, whether that's about life, football, or anything else. And you know, I've enjoyed the experience so far. It's been everything I've kind of wanted it to be in terms of challenges and in terms of you know, the space I'm working in. But at the same time, I think, you know, the years of experience that I've had have prepared me well for it.
Matt, you got anything? Yeah, no, I just wondered, do you ever picture yourself lifting trophies, as a more general question?
I've got real pictures, mate.
No, but I mean, obviously,
There's quite a few of them, mate.
mentally what I'm thinking is,
Yeah.
do you pick,
No, I just look at the ones I've got, mate.
you're lucky to be able to do that, but...
Yeah. No, I've earned them. I'm not lucky.
Put them above the ceiling.
No. I know what you're saying, but
Is that what sort of inspires you, spurs you on those pictures?
I love.
It's a debate between fourth, isn't it, and winning.
No, I get that, but like I love winning, mate. That's all I've done my whole career, and I don't say that dismissively that I've got pictures, and I don't, you know, no, I don't have them on my ceiling, mate, as you suggested. But I that's what drives me. You know, every year I start the year hoping that, you know, at the end of the year there is a picture of me with a team and lifting a trophy. That's what I've tried to do my whole career, and I've got plenty of evidence of that. So that's what my sort of intent is here. It's not something that I have to visualise, it's what I do.
I think Spurs have lifted trophies in the past. Are you keen on having those around and using those to motivate the players, to show them what it's like? Or are you somebody who finds shy on there, of putting the pressure on?
No, they're around. They're around. The people who've had success at this football club are rightly honoured. If you walk in, you know, the home dressing room, that's the only pictures we've got up there. Teams and individuals that have won things, because we know how important it is to our supporters in this football club. So they are honoured. You don't hide those things away. You absolutely put them up as an example of who we want to be.
And because of Spurs' history, is it a bigger deal, the FA Cup, at this club, than perhaps it would be at other Premier League clubs?
I don't know about other football clubs. I'd hate to think there'd be any football club who wouldn't care about winning a pretty significant trophy. But certainly for us, like I said, we want to try and win every competition we're in, because I think that's the kind of the stature of this football club.
What do you do with your winners' medal? Are you someone who has a little trophy room type thing in your house, or is it put in the attic?
No, well, the thing is, like, and to be fair, my wife's in Australia at the moment, and she's been moaning about it as well, is that we've moved so much, mate, that it's just, I don't have like a house where you go, you know what, I'd love to one day, and they're all somewhere. You know, I've still, you know, obviously I've got the Celtic ones because they've travelled with us at the moment, but all the other ones, I don't know, you know, they're somewhere, they're packed away, but yeah, it's we've had an interesting sort of existence, not a normal one where you have, you know, your family home, and I can set up that'll come at some point, I hope very soon, but you know, we've been nomads a little bit, and you kind of live that sort of existence with all your possessions. I've got my family, mate, they're the only sort of trophies I need.
And we'll finish with Dan for 12 o'clock tomorrow, please.
And one of the debates the club had when Postecoglou was whether winning a domestic cup would kind of change the mentality of the squad and help them to become winners. I mean, when you've won trophies in the past with other clubs, have you noticed that changes the group in any way?
Oh, look, I think it helps for people to experience that, but I mean, Christian Romero's a World Cup winner. He knows what it's like, you know, so there's already people in the room who have kind of had that experience, and it does help, but it also then you fall the trap the other side of it. Does that breed complacency now because they've got it, you know? So then you kind of flip it, and you kind of, okay, I've got to get them to climb the mountain again. So there's always challenges there, and I think a winner's mindset is more about, coming in every day and trying to, be the best you can be in the context of where you are and try and be part of something that's special. And that should never stop or accelerate because you, haven't achieved something or you do achieve something, because there are equal pitfalls there. But, if the guys who do win things at least have a picture in their head of what it should look like, what a dressing, because you can win it many different ways in terms of playing styles and methodologies, but there are consistencies in winning teams around, a real sort of team first mindset about having a really strong culture, really strong training environment, all those kind of things. And until you experience it, sometimes it's hard for players to conceptualise, but if they've been part of it, well, okay, they know that these things are constants, and that could be with this team or with another team that they've had success with.
And you mentioned at the top that you think sometimes cup games can be freer and less constrained. Do you think that might suit the way you want the team to play?
Potentially. I mean, it depends, because then, but it also means the other team are the same way. And like I said, they're kind of unique beasts in themselves, cup games, they take on their own lives because, like I said, that, all right, I mean, there's obviously replays in this round, but usually that at the end of the game, you need to win to progress. So depending on the scoreline, you get to extremes of, how do we hold on to this or how do we turn this around? And, teams, coaches tend to be a bit freer with their kind of decision-making in those processes. So, they don't... I've always felt that they kind of unique in their own way as opposed to league games.
And just a quick one on Ivan Perisic. Do you expect him to play again this season?
No. He's working hard, to be fair to Ivan, and he's obviously got some national team commitments and he wants to get back as quickly as possible. And again, he's been a significant loss for us. He was. I thought this year he was going to be a real significant contributor because of his experience, and we saw that in the first few games with the way he impacted games. But he won't unlikely to play for us again.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.